Hello and welcome. This is Miss H from the QETV Live show. Again, I want to thank you for viewing QETV Live show with your host, Miss H. Again, this is my pre-show. As I told you, the last two sessions, we were just testing the waters, letting everyone know that we are relaunching, rebranding, coming back the QETV Live show with your host, Miss H. These are my pre-shows. You know how football games get ready for their debut season. They have those pre-games, and they're getting everything ready. They're getting the players ready. They're getting the team ready. They're getting the fans ready. And what they have to do is they have to eliminate anything and everyone that's not going to be part of the regular seasons. But what they're doing is trying to get a feel of who they want to be on their team and who they want to be surrounded by to win the game. And so, what I'm doing now, I am just testing the waters right now, looking for opportunities, new ways, new team members, going back, reaching in, pulling out a lot of my guests that I had from last year, and just moving towards trying to find the right fit for the show and trying to find the right content. So we've been having some pre-shows. We've been trying to find out whether it's Zoom or whether we want to use StreamYard. As you can see, there's so much to do on social media and there's so much to talk about. So let's just get started with my special edition. Tomorrow is my birthday. Woo! August the 14th, I have declared a challenge for the month of August. The reason why is because everywhere that I have been and everybody I have talked to, it seems like everybody are facing challenges. And it doesn't mean the word challenge is not a bad word, but the word challenge is they are having to do life different. So I've been asking everyone to post their challenges. I've been giving different ones that I've talked to on the phone says, tell me what's your challenge, post your challenge, and post it to social media, hashtag QETV Live, and let me know so that we can encourage one another and help each other. So, what I did, I have some guests that are coming on tonight, but before we introduce our guests, I want to introduce someone who has helped me come back and have introduced my show back to my Facebook audience. So if Ariel will come on in and help me get this party started with my new birthday edition of QETV Live show. How are you?
I am amazing, Mama Hightower. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and I just want to say thank you for hanging in there with me and kind of setting me on course and really kind of testing the waters. Again, we're testing the waters to see where I'm going because right now is so much content out there, so much information out there, and what we need to do is make sure that we have something to say because people have a we can talk, but talk can become cheap. You got to have substance with your talk. And I don't want to just be talking just to be talking. So I wanted to reach back into my little basket and pull out some movers and shakers to challenge me. Those who have challenged me in the last year, some people I have surrounded myself with. And you are one of them as well. Such a young, you keep me energized. I just wanted to bring on some guests that can help me to help my Facebook family just see where they are, how they're dealing with challenges, where they are in their life, pre-COVID, post-COVID, like what is going on. So, can you help me introduce my special guest tonight on the show? Can you do that for me?
I so can, and I am so honored. Right now, y'all, make sure you have a like, you have a love, you have shared. Though this is a pre-show, it's gonna be fire, y'all. So I am so glad to be able to introduce your guest. And so put some hand emojis in the comments for me. Our first guest, you guys. She is a author. She is a certified success coach. She is a screenwriter. Y'all, she is an all-around boss. And I am excited to be able to introduce speaker, author, screenwriter, and success coach, Minister Lori Wake.
All right, Lori. Come on, Lori. Come on down. And welcome to the Qetv Live show. It's such an honor to see you. And when we get everybody on the screen, I'm going to get you guys all together to tell me about how you're staying focused. But right now, introduce yourself and tell us, first of all, how are you and what's going on with you right now?
I am Lori Ray, and I am fabulous. I'm just taking it one day at a time. I don't even consider the pandemic. That's just another hurdle. So if there are always going to be hurdles. It's just another hurdle. You just got to figure out a way to get around it, get over it, move it out of the way, whatever. So I am still continuing to run my race as if nothing is going on, as if there is no pandemic, as if I'm not shut in the house. And I really, we'll talk about it later because I want to talk about distraction. I
Okay,
want to
so
talk about distraction. So we'll talk about that
distraction.
later. Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So we will come back
Yeah.
with
Let's come
that.
back
That
to
we're
that.
going to talk with Lori about distraction. Okay, so let's move to our next special guest, Ariel.
Yes, ma'am. Well, next we have an amazing, he is a certified success coach. He is senior pastor of Harvest Church International. He is a author. He is a speaker. And it just so happens that he also has the best job of all of being my dad. Listen, welcome senior pastor of Harvest Church International, Pastor Dion, or as we know, Pastor
All
Robert.
right. Now, see, I couldn't have given you that introduction. Isn't that such a warm introduction?
Yes.
And I will pay her as soon as we get off.
Okay, okay.
That'll work.
That's befitting. And you know what, Pastor? I just want to say, like I said to Lori, I haven't seen you all in such a long time, haven't had the honor of being able to talk to you. So, my first greeting would be, how are you? And how is your best friend, your partner in life, your pastor's wife, Natasha? How are you guys doing?
We are doing wonderful. This thing the first thing that I've always said that anything that's a challenge to us, we have to defeat spiritually, we have to defeat emotionally before we can defeat physically. And so this was just viewing this, and I've called it a prophetic pause. Is what I've
Mm.
called this is because it has given us an opportunity to either start over with some things, to discuss some things, because even as a family, we're having more discussions than ever, and then begin to plan some things. So we just actually took what other people considered as lemon and made lemonade.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you call it a spiritual pause.
Mm-hmm. The prophetic. So I keep my alliterations right. I gave it a PP. I called it a prophetic pause. Is what I called it. And the only reason I did that is I had to view how how we were doing life, how we were looking at things, how we were doing church, how we were doing family, how we were doing all those things. And the truth be told, we needed this pause. We needed to be able to step back from what we were doing every day, step back from our thinking, and look at some things that would make what we're doing more productive as opposed to less productive. And then it also gave us an opportunity to seek the proper direction that we needed from God to be able to do all these things and be effective. And then, last but not least, here's
Mm.
something that I'm going to say, it gave us clarity on who we need to be connected to and who we need to disconnect ourselves from. Because
Wow.
everybody, what, for example, your show, I mean, I said this all along, and I just believe it in all my heart. Your show is going to go global, international, and we start in this method and mechanism. Well, not everybody is excited about you going global and international, and so I just believe that God is using this time to expand your audience. To expand, it's not that you didn't have an audience, he's just expanding it, expanding your influence so that really, like all of us who know you now, we can get your autograph now because we know later
Bring it
it's going to
on.
be
Bring it
worth so
on.
much more. It's going to be worth so much more. So
Wow.
we're just, and that's what I'm looking at. This is giving us an opportunity. And even with doing virtual experiences like we had to, it's, well, to a degree it's cheaper than what we paid for media. But here's the other thing with that, um, we're able to get cameras and do, I mean, we got some things in progress that's going to be off the chain.
Mm.
Then when we get out of this thing, there's so much more that we'll all be able to do because you are a friend and family. I call you family, I don't call you friend.
That's right. That's
Call you
right.
family. I mean, Minister Lori and I talk. There's some promos we're gonna do because God has blessed us. We got these cameras coming that are cinema cameras that they shooting the movie. We're doing some things, and I want to put together a nice cinema promo for you so that you know that'll be the first of many. That when people see you doing what you're doing, they know that you're the real deal.
Wow. You know what, Pastor? You have my ear. Your family has already won my heart, but now you have my ear because you're absolutely right. There is a voice to be reckoned with right now and a voice to be heard. So we have to make sure that we're in the right place at the right time in order to hear during this season. So we want to hear a little more about that. We're going to now bring on our next guest. And Lori, we're going to go back to that dedicated piece because I know you have something more to add to that, but you definitely have my ear for right now.
Oh man, I'm so excited. We have minister and speaker Lori Ray. We have Pastor Dion on here, and last but not least, I am excited that we have the whole the host. Excuse me, guys, tongue twister. The host of the Tea Time Talk Show. She is also a certified success coach, and as well as a minister. And I am excited that put your virtual hands together. We're bringing on Minister Tawana L.
All right,
Simpson.
come on, Tawana.
Y'all know I
Oh,
had to
she
come in with
she
some
brought she
noise.
brought her own
You got
applause
your
to the
own,
show.
okay?
Okay.
No, 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 no. See. That's not for me. I'm applauding what has already been said. I'm
Okay.
applauding at what's going forth. Um, Pastor Middleton spoke about this being a prophetic pause, and so y'all know I'm all about that one, right? And that prophetic pause, I'm hearing a sound in that we're pausing because there have been some prophecies given before now, before 2020. And so God is allowing us to revisit those prophetic words. And because we have a part to play, a lot of people think that you get a prophetic word and that's it. No, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. You got a part to play. You have to cover it and put that thing into action. So my applause was to you, Maha Tower, is to applaud you for not being distracted, as Lori said.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I am tea time. Pink ladies are pearls. Y'all see me with my pearls on. And so I come to you with greetings from that good parable from Jesus in Matthew 13:45 and 46. And so that would be my thing for this evening. How am I doing? I am doing absolutely awesome, just like Jesus.
You know
That's how I
what?
tell people. I'm
That's the
awesome
reason
like
why.
Jesus.
That's the reason why that I am surrounding myself and giving ear to each and every one of you on here, because I appreciate your applause. I appreciate your encouragement.
Yeah,
But at the same time, without hearing that voice and to hear the sound of victory and words of life, because even Jesus says that while we see the day approaching, we ought to encourage one another.
that's right.
And my thing is, without this type of encouragement in a networking group, in a family circle, both spiritual and natural, we will lose that sound of victory. And so
That's right.
that's why, to me, it was important for this season of time to have this edition of challenging, because a wise man said, that what you make happen for others, God to make happen for you.
That's right.
So I started just reaching out to my personal family and to my Facebook family and say, hey, what are your challenges? What are you challenging yourself with? Because if you don't put that challenge out there and force yourself to do something, you can get lost along the way. So I remember last week when I told area, I said, I just don't know what it is I want to do, because there's so many voices out there right now. And one of the things that came to me when her energy, she got so much energy as a young
Yeah,
entrepreneur, that I want, before we leave off the air today, each one of you to tell everyone how she has been a blessing to your life, because she truly has blessed me. And it stems all from what has been poured into her. But I thought about the greatest thing I can ever do, and where I thrive the most is always seeing other people thrive
yeah,
and seeing everybody else, to see people succeed. So that's what brings me joy, is I bridge inspiration with information for everyday life. That's what I do.
that's
And
right.
I love doing that. And sometimes it just looks like, where is it for me? That is where it is for me, because I get a
Amen.
joy out of it. And I love people to tell their story, because I think everyone has a story. So now I want to throw it back at you, Lori. During this time, a lot of people do get distracted. I know I got distracted at one time, um, and I still do. Staying focused is something that you have to train yourself to be focused. You have to train yourself in this way of life. You have to train how you think with your mind. So tell us, what are you hearing, and what are you and how are you using not being distracted to keep you as you challenge yourself?
Well, first of all, again, thank you for letting me come on the show with my friends today, my family. I'm so glad to be with y'all today.
Yes,
My thing is always encouraging people to invest in themselves. When you invest in yourself, you eventually going to have some success. If you continue to study, to looks like what we're doing now, if you continue to surround yourself with like-minded people, take courses, whatever, you're going to be successful. But here's what I want to say about distractions. When you start seeing yourself getting successful, don't be distracted or dejected by people who do not have the capacity to understand your success.
that's right.
I'm going to repeat that again.
Please do.
Repeat.
Don't get distracted or feel dejected when people don't have the capacity to understand your success.
That's
They
right.
don't see you crying in the midnight hour.
Mm,
They don't see you studying. They don't see you getting disappointed. They don't see when people tell you no. So don't be discouraged or distracted by that because they don't have the capacity to know
Mm.
what it is that got you to where you are right now. They don't have the capacity. And what I like to say, just run your race.
mm,
When we were in school and we had recess, when we were running a race, we were always looking at the finish line. We
mm.
were just trying to get to the finish line. We didn't look to the right, to the left. We just trying to get to the finish line. But what happens when distractions come in? Now you're looking to the right. Well, wonder what they think about what I'm doing. You're looking to the left. Do I look like them? Am I in that group? Or you're looking behind me? Well, I wonder what's going on there. That's what a distraction is. What I'm saying is run your race. If you spend enough time running your race, check this out. You don't have time to look to the right. You don't have time to look to the left. You don't have
Mm,
time to look at what's behind you because if you're looking to the right, you're going to run into something.
mm.
Either you're going to get distracted or you're going to cause somebody else to get distracted.
Wow.
Even on the left, what we continue to do is look to the goal, look to what's in front of us, and run that race. And don't allow the distractions on what's going on the right, what's going on the left, what's going on. Don't let those voices just say the finish line. I'm focused on the finish line. And if we're going to run a race, let's do like a relay. I consider what we're doing a relay. Pastor Middleton has gone out before us. He's the sprinter. He's gone
Yes.
out, he's opened the doors, he's got the coaching school, he's got the books, the word, and then he passes it back
Yeah,
either to Ariel, to Wanda, or Nike. He passes it back. But guess what? We're still all in the race together. We're
definitely.
all saying, hey, we're counting on Pastor Middleton to cross the finish line.
Say
And
that.
then we're counting on Ariel to cross the finish line. And then we're counting on Nike to cross the finish line
Yeah,
and Tawana. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm coming up in the rear. It
yeah.
doesn't matter if I'm the
That's
anchor.
right.
Because guess what? When we cross the finish line, we all win. So when
Yep.
one win, we all win.
That's
If we don't get distracted, we will all win. One win, we all win.
We all win.
I like that. I like that. Pastor Middleton, if you could just jump in behind that, because she's absolutely right. Each one of us on here, you have passed each one of us a baton. And personally, I get distracted because I do sometimes look at others, and I know you need to build a team around you and you need to put on them blinders, as they say, so you don't look at what's going on. But from a mentor to your mentee, how do we get rid of distractions? And what are some of the things that you can tell us that can distract us so that we can be cautious of them? Like, what are those roadblocks that will try to distract your students? And I'm sure what we're going through is not nothing new to anyone else, because there's nothing new under the sun. But what do you see can be distractions to us as we run our race?
Wow, that was great information. I think the biggest thing for me is that I heard this 3 years ago about legacy, and and it was an opportunity for me to begin to create a legacy. Now, legacy meant that I was willing, because I so believed in you all. I'm willing to decrease in a time so that every one of you can begin to shine in your areas. Because the biggest first part about getting rid of the distraction is, number one, being confident in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confident in who I am, everything that I'm watching you all become has me proud and doesn't have me shrinking, so it won't cause me to ever compete
Yeah.
against that. I mean, I got my daughter up there. She has when they talk about mantles, this whole thing is she has taken a mantle from me based upon watching me and what I've done. Because years ago, I started a graphics company years ago, and she watched what I did for years. And then all of a sudden, I saw her helping everybody else, and stuff like that. But I know I can't get off course, and nor can I say anything wrong to her. I can only advise her next step is
Yeah.
what I could do, and that's the way I feel about everyone else. When I'm surrounded by the right group of people, I'll never get distracted or feel inferior that the group that I'm surrounded with, that somebody is trying to take my place. Well,
Mm.
that's what legacy is designed to do. It's to
That's
Wow.
right.
for me to begin to decrease so that everyone else can increase, and I can just be a boardroom advisor to those that are out there creating the success in the area. So that's the second part of not being distracted. Knowing who you are surrounded with, they are committed to your success.
Mm-hmm.
They are not competing with you. They will do everything to take you to the next, make sure you
Come
get to
on.
the next level. And so I'm so godly proud of all the work that you're all putting in, and I love to share it. I love to let everybody know, hey, they were doing this, they're doing everything like that. I love to let everybody know that, because you all are dominating and taking over areas that I couldn't get in anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
so we benefit. The
Yeah.
entire body benefits when what I can't do, I've acknowledged and now push it out to where everybody can do. I said this to Ariel. I said, look, I got this expensive software in here. I need to show you how to work some more this expensive software that I done paid for already. And she is like, Dad, I just want to. I said, no. And even my whole thing for her is I'm always making sure, no, you're doing an excellent job. Miss H, about your talk show, you're doing an excellent job. uh, Tawana, Tawana is like a sister. She don't even realize I put a video up not that long ago where years ago she came and prophesied a word when they came to our church on a Sunday, and it wasn't that long. And I put the video up because I'm not ashamed of who I allow in my circle, that I allow in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where it is manifesting in coming to pass, where God has carved out my space.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he's carved out my space based upon that word, he's carved out y'all spaces. And
Mm-hmm.
and I promise you,
But
I'm gonna make
mm-hmm.
sure that the way this thing is turning, because here's what I said about this prophetic pause. Social media has evened the playing field.
Yeah.
That's true.
And now you all have the opportunity to be out there in full force, because I believe you all have transformational messages that will change the masses, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So that's how, we don't become distracted. Number one, we know who we are. Number two, we surround ourselves by the right people. And then number three, we define what it is we're supposed to do. We put
Mm-hmm.
our head down and do it. So
Mm-hmm.
those
I
are the
love it.
I can give.
I
Mm.
love it.
Thank you.
And
Awesome.
Tawana,
That's great.
he's absolutely right. I want you to jump in now because with a prophetic voice as you have, and I love the way you jumped in because you have a lot that you can share with people, and I love how you just jumped in. You didn't understand what you were doing, how you were doing it. You just says, "I feel led to have this tea time." And you just did it. I mean, you did not wait a year, pray about it for 2 years, and then come back around the third year. You jumped in there, and I looked up. Ariel had, created this beautiful graphic for you, and I went, my jaw dropped, and I said, Oh my God. So, speaking of the distraction, passing the mantle, what do you see and where do you think God is doing with people now as they're moving forward in this season in their life?
One of the things that I think that what's going on, um, again, the parable that Jesus spoke about the pearl. A lot of us don't want to go through anything. We want what we want it now, and that's it. We don't want to go through nothing. And so with the parable of the pearl, when a before a pearl is formed, it goes through some irritation, and the irritation is what brings out the pearl. It's not just rising to the top overnight. You have to go through something. Even distraction can become a pearl, because once you learn that you got this thing distraction that's hindering you, you you let that thing rub up against you enough to know, no, this distraction is not going to continue to be here in my life, whatever it is that's holding you back. So yeah, I jumped into this thing because I know when I'm hearing something that God is telling me to do, I have learned throughout the years, jump in and do it. I just needed to know how, what, who. And so I had already done two of the shows, and then one day I just called Ariel like I normally do, just call and check up on her. And I'm telling her, God gave me this thing, and I don't even know what this thing is. I see it. I don't even know how to make it happen. And she just took off running. She running me, y'all. She telling me what to do. And so, and no, she's not an irritant, but some of the things that she's asking me to do, it's irritating, because the irritation will take you out of your comfort zone. Do I want to be a pearl? Do I want some of these things that I may have? What do you call it? What's the name for it? When you're hesitant, y'all know the word. Mm. All right, Holy Spirit, give me this word. But it's like you sitting back, and you know you're supposed to be doing something, and you just sitting back and you chilling.
Procrastination.
Procrastination is an assassination to my destination. Haven't we heard that
Right.
before?
Right.
No, but this fireball right here, Ariel, she won't let you get by with nothing that she's assigned you to do for your vision that God has given you. And so I just believe that irritations are good. Don't ignore whatever is irritating you, because whatever is irritating you can become a pearl. We don't just have one pearl; we have several pearls. You don't just become one and then that's it. It's several things in your life. There's several, like your show. What Lori is doing, Pastor Middleton is doing, Ariel is doing. These are pearls, and we had to go through some things to get to where we are. It doesn't happen overnight.
I love it. Now, we all know there's a lot of excitement now running through our country, and a historical time running through our country because we just saw the new ticket for President Biden with Harris coming on. So we also have to remember, as when you first came on the show, you says Pastor Middleton talked about that we have to see what's going on in the spirit. I
Hmm.
always look at what is going on in the natural as an indication of the spirit.
What's going on? That's
I
right.
really believe, and I want to hear this from two perspectives. I want to hear it, Pastor Middleton, from a man perspective, and then Lori, if you could go first, and then Ariel and then Tawana from each perspective. With this historical event going on, and with the new VP on the ticket as a female, I do believe that God is breaking the glass ceiling for women, because now our little brown daughters, just like our little sons 8 years ago, could look up and say, I have the potential of one day becoming a president. That opened the door for a lot of little boys of color. Now I have heard little girls are now saying, wow, I now can be president of the United States. So I'm looking at that this glass ceiling is being taken and broken from every perspective. But how do we balance that with everyday challenges in life? Because with that comes a lot of defiance. With that can come a lot of going more to the left and to the right. So how do you bring that in perspective? And how do the church and how do we as business women, and then Pastor Middleton as a man, I'm looking at Senator Harris' husband now is kind of, it's got to fall back to the point where a woman is in charge, but she's not in charge, so to
At
speak,
home.
out of her home, but she's in charge in her position. And sometimes we can look at that wrong. But at the same time, from a woman perspective, how do we see that and relate to that, Lori, in women in business, especially women of color?
I agree with you that this is the year for women, all women, but especially women of color. I think if you have respect for anybody, it doesn't matter if you're running for VP, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, if you're a boss lady, if you have respect, you get respect. If you give respect, you get respect. I don't see it as this person's in charge of that person because they're at this level. I say if you, I just look at myself, even on the workforce, even in the government, there are a lot of women that are at high grades. It's all about how you carry yourself.
That's
Right.
right.
And I'm going back to what Pastor Middleton said. If you know yourself, it you can be on the top of the mountain, you can be the vice president, but you can still be respectful and respected.
Yeah.
That's
I
something
love
that you
it.
earn.
I love it.
And if you can be respectful and respected, you can walk on in any door
That's right.
with confidence
That's
because you
right.
know who you are. You don't have to say, hey, the VP is here, or hey, I'm here. Roll out the red carpet. Even though they might roll out the red carpet, you don't go in there with all expectation that you're the grandest thing in the room. If you humble yourself, God will exalt you. He
That's
will
it.
put you in doors that were closed. He will put you in positions that you're not qualified for. But it's a humbling and a respect that'll get you and keep you there.
I love that.
I
I
love
love
it.
that. And Ariel, from a younger perspective, as a woman of color, as a businesswoman, as a leader yourself, when it comes to challenges and balancing that, how do you see yourself right now in this age and in this time?
Wow, that's an amazing question. If I can just put a pause, y'all have been blessed to me. I'm like, let me be on the other side in the comments because y'all are fire. Let me say that. I am graced to be with you guys, and so my tower in that it is a, as Aunt Lori has said, um it comes with one, a respect factor, but in a balance factor of knowing who, my grandmother will always say, know who you are and whose you are. And in knowing that, um I love Timothy in the Bible, because he was young. He was all. It always seemed like I was always the youngest. I was always the shortest, the youngest, whichever we wanted, to be able to say. And it would always seem that it would be proposed as the odds were against me. If anyone knows my story, my parents, they believed God for me. I was born at 1 pound and 2 ounces. The doctors told me that either I had a 50-50 chance, either I was going to live or I was going to die. Well, and I know that God is a healer. And so I'm able to push past some stuff, because I'm here today, almost 28 years later. But
Jesus.
that same drive, that same balance, um, that of knowing who you are on the inside, as your amazing guests have just said, that is where it begins. Not only as I know that I am an African American young millennial, as I know that there are some amazing things about millennials, and I love us. I love some amazing things that we do. I also know that there is a balance for me, that I am also a kingdom woman. You have some kingdompreneurs on here on this screen, and as it relates to me being a kingdom entrepreneur, as a young individual, as a person that loves God, that all plays in a part. You know, I'm not one or the other. I'm not left or right. There are so many different things I say that we can be able to zone in on, because we all have that lane, we all have that thing that we're supposed to do. So whether you are, it is you're in a position of authority, or whether it is you might be the cashier at the Chick-fil-A, but you're going to be the best doggone cashier you can ever be. You know, you might be that person in whatever position. In the scripture it said, wherever I am, I'm going to be content. Wherever
Right.
I am. And so, you know, in that space of where I am right now, wherever I am, I have to have a level of contentment and balance, to know that if God gave it to me, he's going to fulfill it. If God gave it to me, he's going to give me the grace to finish it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, in this balance, I'm learning the balance of loving God, of hearing God in my life, for my business, for you guys, you know, things like that. It's so evident, to make sure that I'm not so and to say, maybe to wrap up with the balance, that I am never, that I can't, that I'm unteachable. I'll say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
The level of me being, I cannot be unteachable, because if I'm unteachable, then I wouldn't be able to help you all on the screen, or the people to come, or the many people that Buchete has been trying to put on my roster, all the things like that, you know. So I am, I have to remain
You
teachable,
have to tell them who
as
Bouquet
Glory said,
is.
also remaining humble. And humble is not a posture of like woes. It's a level of, I know maybe who I am, but I still am gonna honor the person that you are. And then also me loving people. We've come to a place and a point, and I even say as a country, we don't love people. We give
Yeah.
grace to who we want to give grace for, but we
Wow.
don't want to be able to give grace to everyone.
Mm.
Unfortunately, people misunderstand that grace is for everyone. Everybody needs grace. And so the
Mm.
balance of me being grace to do something, and then also giving people grace. Everybody isn't going to get it on the first time. Everybody is not who each person maybe in this screen is, but they're grace for it. You're grace for
That's
what you're
right.
supposed to do. And so, you know, if God has graced you for what you're going to do, have a balance, have a righteous authority and a righteous indignation, that you're going to do whatever God has led you to do. But that's where I am. I want to be able to have a righteous indignation while honoring the place that has taught me. I am only here by the prayers and the oil of where I've come from.
Girl, y'all need to pass the bucket, class.
Yep, girl.
Pass the offering. What's your cash app?
It's
I told
like
her last
it's like
week.
drop the
I
mic.
know. I told
Yeah.
her last week
Drop
when
the
she
mic.
finished. You know the old saying, that girl said a mouthful. She is, Pastor, you have
Yes.
to be proud to know at a place in her life where she is now, to be able to stand on anyone's stage, to be able to stand on anyone platform. You ready for TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
just got to get
Mm-hmm.
yourself ready for it, because
Right.
I'm like, Pastor, I can see vision too. And I can see that you're
Yeah.
going places, and I can
Oh yeah.
see that you are moving in that direction, to not
Yeah.
only be a motivational speaker, but be a woman of God who's going to speak the truth at
Yeah.
any day, any time, anywhere. You can stand on a platform with the young and the old. You know, like in the book of Job, when they called the three comforters, when the young man came on, he said, all of you go sit down. Wisdom is not always found in the hoary head. But he
Yeah,
said, none of you know what you're saying. That is not what's going on. And he was able to define what was going on in Job's life. So wisdom is thank God that wisdom is in us because we've been seasoned with grace and we've lived years of experience. But when you avail yourself to the greatest
mm,
um, person on earth, who is Jesus Christ, and you allow the Holy Spirit to teach you,
that's
there
right.
is no one that can stand
Mm,
against
mm,
you. And I
mm,
say
mm,
to
mm.
you, sweetheart, stand courageous, be strong, and
Right.
never let your fire go out because you
That's
got
right.
something. You got something. And that's why I said, you give me that energy. This girl is on fire. So Tawana, I'll let you go behind that because she said a lot.
Yeah. What's your question? Because you know I am full.
Well, she said a lot. I was just asking, how do you balance what's going on in the spirit now with the challenges that we're facing, um, with having I see what God is doing in women right now. It's a time and season where the glass ceiling has been broken. And what we have just witnessed on Tuesday, the announcement of a woman of color taking on one of the highest positions that's ever been taken, it helps me to see what's going on in the spirit. God is opening doors and doing a mighty thing in females' life, especially the ones that will listen and give God their voice. So,
Yeah.
how do you balance that now with your life and with what's going on?
Let me tell you, this has been like a slow catwalk for me this season of my life. I've always been very, very busy from a young age. So now that my children are grown, it's like I have a lot of time. And so, but my time is not idle time. I'm putting that time to use. And so, um, I purposefully, with my children, um, spent that time, that season, mothering them, pouring into them, so that when they got to the place where they are now, that I can kind of sit back and just relax and just watch what I poured inside of them, what I sowed inside of them, and watch it grow. So I balancing right now, that's not a problem at all. Right now is just trying to get me to sit. That's what the problem is. Getting me to sit. Um, I know that this is a time and an opportunity where God is opening doors for me. And I did not rush that season. You understand? I waited for this. I prepared for this. And so even for my next season, now I'm preparing for that. There's a scripture, it's two that have become my favorite. 1 Corinthians 16:9 and 10. I'm reading from off my little post-it that I have. Because this is a post-it that I have up on my mirror in my bedroom and I bought it down. And this scripture says, wide open door of great for a great work. That's just paraphrasing. And then Colossians 4:3, God, this is my paraphrasing. God opened a door for me to proclaim the mystery of Jesus Christ. And so, just as long as I am not going places that I shouldn't, just as long as I keep the same thing that I've always done, ask God for permission. I ask Him if it's okay. I ask Him if this is the time and if this is the day, this is where I'm supposed to be, da 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 da. Then I know that I'm keeping balance because I'm keeping myself in tune with what He's saying. I've learned that every time I do that, I'm not in a place that I should not be. I'm not in a place where someone has wasted my time or I allowed my time to be wasted. You said something regarding what just happened with the VP being put on the ballot. One of the things that I have um, before God is that I pray that we don't do like what we did with President Obama. And what I mean by that is that we went to sleep for 8 years. We slept 8 years. And so now I'm praying that if they win the presidency, right? She becomes the VP, then now that doesn't become a spirit over women, that we treat our men, dishonor our men, and kick them around. That's not what that's for. VP is just a position, and female or male is just a person. And so I'm I'm in prayer about that. I can see it happening, but I'm in prayer about that. That no matter if we are boss or what, but it's like we still give our place and our honor to men, that we don't abuse the position, abuse the season, and or even try to do a get back. Because some men was abusive when they were in power, right? This is not the time to flip that. If it's the season for women, it's the season of women. But we women have to be very careful. And so even in balancing that, with me doing where God is taking me, where I'm allowing Him, I still ask my husband, can I?
That's right.
I
That's
still
right.
ask, and it's something that God has given me to do. God told me to do it, but without Him saying yes, without Him saying okay, I don't do it. I can't do it. God said it or not. We're one. And so, and whether I'm one or not, with another man that I may have to do business with, that doesn't mean that I get to treat them and speak to them any old kind of way because I'm on top or I'm boss or what have you.
Right.
No, I'm still a person and they're still a person. So I'm praying that we don't go into a season such as that.
And you're absolutely right. And I pray that we don't too. And that is something that we will, the Bible tells us that we are to pray and lift up one another, especially in this season of time in our life. And I say the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
I don't know personally her lifestyle, but looking from afar and seeing over 20 years of marriage, and she has a wonderful husband and children, you will know, or you will see, or you would have heard the abuse and all the exercise and authority, because this ain't her first major position. So it tends to say, or I can see it from a distance, that I don't think that she's that type of person. She seemed committed to her family, and I think again, it's where your priorities lie. So, but that
I'm not
is
necessarily talking about her.
no, I know what you're saying, and I believe that what you are absolutely right, because that is the spirit of what will happen if we're not careful.
Yeah,
Because anytime something good happens, the enemy always try to come in
that's
and
right.
tries to mask and try to duplicate what God is doing. So you're absolutely right. That is something that we right now need to begin to pray over and pray for, and
Yeah.
to be the example and know our place. And I'm throwing it to you now, Pastor Middleton, to see what you will have to say. And personally, you don't have to speak from, because I don't know her well enough to speak about her, but I do know, and we all know, that anything that is happening in the earth, God always give us something natural to compare to something spiritual. And I can see the parallel there, especially for women. It is a season of time, and that's because they've been pushed back for so long. And like
Yeah,
Tawana say, it's not to say that all men have pushed us back, because men have fought for women's rights for
that's
years,
right.
for our right to vote, for our right to be heard, for our right to come out of, so to speak, the kitchen and be able to work and have careers. But at the same time, it is a season and time. So how do you balance that, and how do you see it coming as a pastor point of view? Because I know you got to speak to that to your congregant.
Well, it's a twofold way I speak to it, and the first thing I speak to as a father of a daughter who I've actually had the opportunity to participate in her life constantly, because a lot of what people don't know is that a lot of our conversations were while I was driving her to school. I got a chance to drive her to school predominantly her entire time because my wife works in DC. So it was an opportunity for me to sow some things in. And while I personally believe uh, women of color have always had it going on, as far as I'm concerned, from my exposure, uh, according to the kingdom of God. And that's just, but the life of a woman has to be seen through the life of a man who honors women.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's good.
That's
Because if a
right.
man doesn't honor women, I don't care, because they're not paying attention to the title. I worry. My whole thing for my daughter has always been use your influence wisely.
Mm,
That's
Wow.
what I've
mm,
always given her. Use your, because even as a pastor, I've never gone around and told anybody I was a pastor or a minister. I
hmm.
just wanted to use my influence to make other people's lives better.
That's right.
Now, in this particular time, while I celebrate the moment that we're in, I have a spiritual concern about the hand of the enemy in this moment, because the hand of the enemy in this moment is making us more concerned about celebrating the title than the person that holds the office, or potentially may hold the office. And to me, the reason that we've minimized here is two things. Um, in my heart, I want black women to honor other black women, which makes all come up. And what happens is, unfortunately, all don't believe the same thing, and
That's
we
right.
don't honor women that think differently from us.
Mm,
So honor is honor, and we have to learn how to honor one another as people. One of the things that I've benefited from in this season, my wife and my daughter, who I love them to pieces. They know it is not nothing, anything that I wouldn't do for any of them. It's they had an opportunity during this pandemic that we got a chance to do this thing as a family, and it's been do ministry as a family, and it's been more fulfilling doing it as a family to me. That the part that when we go back in, I'm trying to figure out how to keep that going. Because I mean, I value what they bring. And so I don't, in this particular state that's going on in the spirit realm, I don't want it to be where the enemy has used her color and title
there
to
you go.
further his agenda,
That's right.
which is
Right.
to minimize, to think, and this is with all women of color, about thinking that only a title makes you.
Mm,
Dr.
mm,
Miles Monroe, and who I sat underneath for years, listening to his material. I bought material home, had my daughter read his material on potential and purpose, because the whole thing for me is I had an encounter with Dr. Miles Monroe in the elevator, and I wasn't even dressed for it. Hopefully, I should have had a suit on and everything like that. I had a t-shirt on and some shorts, and they get on the elevator, and he starts talking to me, and he asked me, "What's my purpose?" And I started telling him what I did. He
mm.
said, "No, that's what you
Mm.
do, but that's not your purpose." And that's what I'm concerned about in this hour, that you're saying she's potential VP. Okay, but
Hmm.
what's the purpose
Yeah.
in being VP in this hour that we
Yeah.
don't use it with the title? So Dr. Miles Monroe corrected me in the elevator and said, "That's not," he said, "That's your title." He said, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to write down your purpose,
Mm.
and I want you to send it to me. And I will tell you and come into agreement with you what your purpose was to do." Now, he talked about me using my influence to help change the lives of people, use my influence to change the lives of the earth. I'm really not interested in her title. I'm interested in her influence and what her
Mm,
influence will bring to the table for all citizens, not just ones that agree with you,
That's
but
right.
all
Right.
citizens.
That's right.
Because unfortunately, in my lifetime, we've lost that. We've lost what's good for all in my entire lifetime.
Mm.
And I remember in 1975, I was in sixth grade or something. I was young. I was just young, and I'm in sixth grade now. And there's a little white guy named Robert Follinger. I remember his name. And we had to do an assignment on the election. And so we got a chance to share some things, and we share some things in our group. And some of the things that I hear people say today is what I heard young children that were 11 years old say in
Wow.
1975. I heard them say the same things back then. And I said to myself, either we need a renewal of mind or we
Mm-hmm.
need to find out what our purpose is. And
Mm.
so I'm only saying I don't want to get it lost because Jesus had to ask the question, whom do men
Mm.
say that I the
Oh
Son of
God.
Man am?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know Senator Harris. I don't know what Senator Harris has done. I don't know a lot of those things, but I'm not going to minimize her by just celebrating her because of her color.
Yeah.
I'm going to maximize her by celebrating her because of her purpose.
Yeah. There
Mm.
you
And,
go.
and that's what I want us to come over here and start doing because to a degree, Lady Tawana was right about what we did with President Obama. When she said we fell asleep, we celebrated the person having the color
The color.
without understanding where the purpose was in even obtaining that office. And so I said this for myself. I said, I don't want to be a pastor if I don't have a purpose in
Mm.
this. Because if I'm not making anybody's life better, if I'm not influencing anybody else to be better, I don't want this title. I don't
Yeah.
want the title,
Yeah.
you know. And I love it when even when Pastor calls me Brother Rodney, that's the best feeling in the world when he called me brother. He got to call me pastor or nothing like that. I don't need all that. The title never moves me. The
That's right.
purpose moves me because even being
And
Ariel's
it's
father. Go ahead,
it's
Ariel.
it's it's what you do. You know what
Yeah.
you're saying, Pastor, is what everyone does, and often we're saying it. You all who are watching us on QETV Live or Mom H's her amazing show that she has. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you guys are taking the principle of this thing. I'm
Yeah.
I'm always extra because I always want to be the other person on this other side of the screen. Know that this is, though it is a topic, this is a principle thing. And
Yeah.
so don't just take it for this here in this moment of maybe what we are discussing, and don't even become maybe offended from a place maybe that you may or may not understand.
It
This is
involves all of
Mm.
us.
input. I realize I'm going to put on the bottom of the thing, the opinions and views of the persons on the QET live show do not reflect the opinions and
The
views
host.
of the
Of the
people
host.
that
Yeah.
we are discussing and talking about. And
Yeah.
so the thing about it is we don't know. But what we do know is that I am a person of
Okay. I
purpose.
think
What we do know is that, listen, whoever is listening to this,
her phone must be acting up.
She's freezing.
Mm-hmm.
She freezing and preaching at the same time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just noticed that. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that she
But
was
Yeah.
breathing.
She's
the
freezing.
only thing I say in the
But
end,
no, you're good, Pastor. Keep going.
the
Yeah.
only thing I say in the end is when it comes to that, I want all of us to honor us because of who we are and not the position that I hold. And so that's why even when I meet somebody, I don't even tell them I'm a pastor. I just, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Rodney Middleton. That's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
And this is how I can help your life. This is what I can do. And then they found out later, they said, why you ain't tell me what you was a pastor? Because it wasn't important.
Yeah.
Because what was important was what did God put in me for this time? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's all I want people.
Right.
And in this particular case, when it does come to Senator Harris, that's what I want people identifying her by. And I think while we celebrate the moment that we're in, I don't want us to stay in that moment. I want
Right.
us
That's right.
I want us to say, you know what? Now let me. She's been pronounced this. Let me honor her because of what's in her, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to what she's doing. And
Yeah.
it's what, and all I'm saying is that's what Dr. Miles Monroe did for me. He wrote me back and
Mm.
told me, this is what your purpose is based upon everything you put on paper. And I
Mm.
think that we need to do that with most of our politicians these days.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get a whole bunch of them out of the office, out of the way, because their purpose
Mm.
was never to be where they are. It could be with leaders, pastors. Most of us are out of position.
Yeah, say
We
that,
are out
say
of
that.
position. And we're just doing it because of the title.
Just
I
because of the
promise you, I
title.
watched my father and my grandfather do this. This was
Mm.
the last thing I wanted to do
Mm.
because I wanted to go out and make some money. That's what I wanted to go out and do. But so many of us in the wrong position. And I think
Mm.
what Dr. Oral Roberts used to do is he would have people come before him. And when they come before him, he would sit with them. He says, talk to me, and I'll tell you whether or not you're in the will of God or not.
Wow.
And I think
Where
that
is that
we do.
today?
We need that today. And I believe that's the only thing that's going to get us back on track is that people
Jesus.
aren't doing it, stop doing stuff for money, stop doing it for titles.
Jesus.
Because I've dropped business this year and
Mm.
I made more money this year without doing business than I did when I had business, only because God told me put business on the side.
Wow.
And you didn't prostitute the people.
And I did not prostitute the people. There are people trying to figure out why we ain't begging for no money. Because God has, I said, if our church doors shut, then it wasn't intended for us to stay open. I said, when it comes to business, I'm not forcing you to do anything. If you want to do something, you do. I
Mm.
give scholarships. That's what I do to
Mm.
make sure people get to the next level because that's all a
Mm.
part of what I want to be known for. And when it comes, if I go home to be with the Lord before this is all over with, I don't want them to put pastor nowhere near anything that they put on the tombstone or whatever. I just want them to say he's loved God's people and
Yeah.
he helped God's people. That's all I want them to say because the title never meant anything. The assignment did. And that's what I want.
Amen.
Amen.
That is amazing. I
Amen.
heard someone feedback. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, I
hearing.
keep hearing feedback like scratching or something, like some rubbing paper or
Yeah.
something.
Let me turn
Yeah.
my volume down. So I don't know if it's me or not.
I'm not sure. But what I'm gonna do now, I mean, everything that you guys have shared, and I'm like Ariel. I was just taking it all in, and I'm so thankful that you guys availed yourself and made yourself available for this time and season. And the good thing is, it blessed me, and I'm sure anyone who's listening and will listen. And that's what we got to remember. People have taken messages like Pastor says. I have listened literally to Dr. Miles Monroe from a teaching he's taught 20 years ago, and it blessed me. Somebody, because this is going in the cloud when you download it to Facebook and YouTube, you never know. 5 years from now, someone pick up this message, listen to it, and what it will make a difference in their life. So I am so honored and so grateful to have a team, to have a group of friends, to have a group, a networking group, to have people in my life that know how to speak into my life. And not only speak into my life, but are actually living this in their own life. So I want to say thank you for your time, your talents, your skills, what you have served and how you serve others. Because each and every one of you, I declare that you're all on the front line, even during this time and season of your life, praying, ministering, visiting, and calling. And I know if I call on each and every one of you right now, you're telling me that you have called a loved one, you have talked to a family member, you are serving during this time, even from the confines of your own home. So I want to thank you and continue to build yourself up, continue to stay strong because God is looking for people in this time that He can use to share this message because there's so many hurting people out there. People are losing their businesses, they're losing their homes, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their sanity, they're losing their purpose. And we have the answer, whether it's for a job or whether it's for a business or whether it's for a ministry. They need a word, and one word from what we have to say, we have the answer. So we never want to get so wrapped up, like you said, in success, or get wrapped up in a business that we forget the real business in life. And the real business in life is love. Love conquers and heals all. So I want to thank you for loving me enough to come on the show. And what I want to do now is, as we leave, I would like each one of you all to tell us what's going on with where you are as an author or as a movie producer up there. Or how people can get a hold of you and how they can visit your website, your Instagram, any of your social media platform. If you have books, if you have products, you have services, just tell each one of you, say how we can get a hold of you, and we'll put a ticker down below so that people can see it running across the screen. So, Miss Lori.
You can reach me on LoriRayShines.com or Facebook at Lori Conway Ray. Just inbox me. Have book T-shirts, and Instagram at Lori Ray Shines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that I think those are all my three. Was that it? Did you have another question? Look, I'm all caught up now. What? Did you have another question? What am I doing now? Or
No,
what?
ma'am,
I don't know what you said.
that was all. Now
Okay.
that you're getting ready to get ready to speak, because every time I look up, she's speaking every month on somebody's virtual platform.
No, I
Wow.
only have a small engagement at the end of the month. My cousin
Okay,
is going to be ordained, so I'm going to like MC the program virtually.
Oh,
Virtually,
wow.
yeah, virtually, and getting ready to work on another movie set starting next week. So got a lot of
well,
things. I'm
we'll be
busy.
your
Just
extras if
busy.
you ever need extras to get ready
Yay.
for the movie.
This is not my movie. You have to wait until it's my movie.
Okay,
I'm working behind the scenes.
okay,
I'm learning, so when it's my time, I'll know what to
okay,
do.
okay. All right, Tawana.
On to you, Tawana.
What am I doing? Is that what's the question? Or how can they get
How
me?
people can get a hold of you, because you're a speaker, you're a life coach, you got a show now. How can people view Tea Time with Tawana Simpson?
Well, our tea time comes on Saturdays. I've been doing it lately every other Saturday. And that's the tea time show on Facebook. And then I have the tea time show. It's going to be going on to Instagram. And if you want to reach me, you want to send me an email, you can do inbox me on Facebook, or you can also send an email at teatime@gmail.com. If you need prayer, you can reach me there. I am always willing to go for prayer and pray for anybody. Well, now that we're in this situation, but send me a prayer request. I'm always willing to pray.
Thank you, thank you, Pastor.
Wow. I almost want to just defer to all of you guys to have, you can, my IG is on there, Dion Middleton. My website is rodneymiddleton.net. But like any good mentor, I want everyone to defer to you guys and defer to your website and follow you all, and get the products from you all, because you all are doing some amazing, phenomenal things, and you're big influencers in the body of Christ, in the business of Christ, and also in our society. So I just defer to you guys. I want everybody, whatever website they gave you, please, because when you support them, you support me. And so
Well,
I
you
believe
know,
there's a
that's good. Since he gave up some of his time, Lori, you and Tawana, if you guys would give a shout out to Ariel and tell how she has helped you and
Mm.
what she means to you. So I want people to light up her phone, her Instagram page, her Facebook page, because she is an amazing up and coming entrepreneur that's doing great things. I mean, I can see it, and I would like for others to know that not only has she made it possible for us to be here, but how has she influenced and been a blessing to your life?
Put your information down at the bottom, Ariel.
For Area, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Uh,
Mm.
I met Ariel. We at a women's no, at the church conference. It was in D.C. and we worked the book
Yeah.
table together. And I fell in love with her. I adopted her right then and there. Like, this is my daughter right here. And I have watched her grow from that point on to this anointed prophet,
Yes,
evangelist, preacher, minister, entrepreneur, boss lady in the body of Christ. In those span of years, it's always good when you can see progress.
Yeah.
And I can see that she has progress. And then when this shut in, I call it the shut in, when the shut in came, I saw her go from levels to levels in Christ to, I'm like, this is a preacher woman right here. This is a prophet, right? I mean, I saw literally God jump on in her, and the Holy Spirit exploded, and I saw that what her parents have placed in her, she is now coming into her own. Like, she has become more confident,
yes,
and you cannot tell her that she cannot be stopped. She cannot be blocked. You can't even, you can't, it's too late. Maybe you should have told her maybe before the pandemic. Because now she knows without a shadow of a doubt that she cannot be stopped. And I was looking at that little plaque behind her
Yeah.
head here. It says,
Yeah.
"You go, girl." That my mic is dropped. You go, girl, because she has helped me with my products. She's my consultant. I mean, makeup artist. I mean, she is A through Z. She just rock. And like I said, you go, girl. Tawana.
That is good.
Exactly. And the girl is gone. Sometimes I think she
Yes.
done gone crazy by all the stuff she be. I told y'all that she be having me doing. Um,
Mm.
Lord Jesus. I don't even remember when I met this young lady. I just know that it was a connection, an immediate connection. And one thing that I do love about her spirit is just well rounded. She knows when she hears the voice of God. I can tell you that much. Um, she knows what kind of wife she wants to be, and one of the biggest thing that I love about her, besides her loving God, loving her parents, is that she doesn't mind waiting on the Lord. She's
mm,
not in a
Mhm.
rush.
Mhm.
I have never once, in all the times that we talk, complaining, I don't have a man. I don't have a man. When
Mhm.
is my man coming? I'm this old. Where's my man? Where's my exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that those are I have two daughters myself. And so that's how my daughters are. But Ariel, she has gifts and talents. I've had to put a pause on it because she's going back to school. Because I was telling everybody about her. Now I'm gonna tell you something. She's not free, and I won't allow her to be free.
Exactly.
No, 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 no,
Ching
no.
ching.
She gets paid.
Right.
I don't. I gotta learn how to do everything because she's getting ready to go back to school. School is important, and that's what I told her. When she's helped me do my shows, and she's sitting in the background. And last week she really, really, really got me out of a hole. OMG. And so talented, patient. If she don't know how to do it, she knows how to who to call to know how to do it. And I know that when she's called on Holy Spirit, when she's done something she's never done before, she's not afraid. And I believe that she's not afraid of the river. That's another thing I like about her. She knows how to jump in the river and stay in the river. The river is the spirit of God, the water, where it's fresh. And she knows how to go in there and get the ideas fresh. She
Uh,
won't make you look like nobody else. And she know that's how I
Mhm,
am. I don't like looking like nobody else. Y'all see
mhm,
that? I don't like looking like nobody
mhm,
else.
mhm,
She called
mhm,
Bouchette. That's me. We don't.
mhm.
I don't like looking like nobody else. I like having my own look, my own sound. Okay. And she knows just how to tap into the spirit of God to get what it is for you. And so I love that she knows how to hear. And because she knows how to hear, she will go far.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
because she knows how to hear, young man, whoever you are, wherever you
mhm.
are, besides mom and daddy, you got to come to this one right here as well. And she
I
knows
love
that.
it. I love
So I
it.
love her. I love what God has placed
I
inside of
love
her. I
it.
love her push. I love how she pushes me. The things that I may have thought about the night before when I talked to her, she's already done it. So I've taken it like I have the thoughts. Ariel got it, and sure enough, She's done it, and she's pushed. Like I said, she's pushing me. I'm normally the pusher. Now the pusher is getting pushed, and so I thank you. I thank you, baby, and I don't mind. I don't. I don't mind pushing Cash App for you. No, I do not. No, I
Exactly.
do not. I do not mind it at all.
I love it. And
Okay.
that's, to
I
sum
love
it up,
y'all.
my heart desire is the same way. I met her from a distance.
I'm Cash Apping you right now as we speak. Go ahead.
I watched you working through one of Dr. Didi's conferences one year, and I said, "Who is that?" I didn't put you together with your mom and dad. I had seen you, but I don't know why that I didn't see your mom's eyes and your dad's in you, because your mom looks so young and looks so beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
the- when I saw you all at Tawana's birthday party that time, I just thought maybe she was a sister, to be honest, or an auntie. I did not know that was her mom. And when Tawana said that's her mother, I said, "You gotta be kidding." They are so close and they act like friends. Like there was
Yeah.
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
bond that the two of you all had that was very impressive. And then to see the dynamics with your dad and how you help him in ministry. I'm like, Tawana, I bless you and I thank you, because I know that you got my back, and so I have yours. And that's why
Yeah.
I told you that I want to push you as much as you push me. I didn't know you were going back to school, so Tawan is right. Now we got to learn how to do this ourselves. We got to figure out a way
No.
to we got to figure out a way to get all of this help with Pastor Middleton. We're going to come back and pull on your coattail a little more. Because we've been pulling on her, but she is a dynamic woman of
Yeah.
God, and
Yeah.
I love her title,
Indeed.
Inspired by Promise.
Yes.
I think that is a name that just matches who you are,
Right.
Yeah.
and you give inspiration, and you're waiting through the promises of God, how He's going to fulfill every promise that He has to you. And I want to say to my Facebook family and to all those watching QETV Live, um, please visit her website. She has written a book. She has t-shirts. She does makeup. If you go to her Instagram page, if you put up your information right now, Ariel, so that people can see
Yes.
where to find you,
Yeah.
how to get in touch with you. I told her she has so many Instagram posts that she has a picture for every day of the week, almost.
This is Lyra. This is Pink Pompadora. Pink what? Pink Pump. You
Yes,
remember that?
Oh, okay.
clear.
It's
Just a
just
little
That's
plug. This is a
Yes.
plug.
What is that, lip
Oh,
gloss?
okay.
Love
Okay.
it.
Is that a lip gloss?
Yes,
Oh.
Oh.
it's by Lyra. What's your makeup signature?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called Pink Pompadour.
Lyra.
Yes.
I love. This is a plug. This is just one of the many
I
things that
Okay,
love
we're
then
talking
it.
about.
Lori, since you got the makeup over there,
Hold on,
we're gonna
please.
do a show where we can just do a makeup and talk some.
We already had her. You already asked. I asked
I
her
missed
already.
it. See, that's the reason
No,
why I
no,
want
no.
to let everybody know.
I've asked her to do it because I want those eyebrows. But okay.
Oh, okay.
I want the
Well,
eyebrows.
thank you again, you
Yeah,
guys, for being such amazing
Yeah.
team. And again, it was
yeah,
really all about. I haven't seen some of you all in so long. I haven't been able to talk to you, so this was really an excellent time
yeah,
to just visit with you as a family. I look at you as a family. I
yeah.
thank you for all of your feedback. Continue to pray one for another.
Right.
Continue to pray for the heart of our country, for your neighbors, for your loved ones. Um, Again, this is August. Yours truly. My birthday is tomorrow. So
Yeah,
Yay.
happy birthday to you.
thank you.
Happy
I had
birthday
I
to
had the I
you.
had this I
So I
had the Stevie
appreciate it.
Wonder ready for you, but the guy called on my phone. I had it all ready and set
Aw.
so we could
Uh,
sing happy birthday.
well, you
Happy
can send it
birthday.
tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow, so you can
I
send whatever
know.
you can send the song or whatever it was. But I thank you all for celebrating with me and just being on the show with me, just to see your faces, to know that everybody is okay. I wanted to find out how you were, how your family was doing, and to tell you I love you because we don't say that enough. I love each and
Thank
every
you.
one of you. I appreciate you and I honor each and every one of you. And to my mentor, Pastor Middleton, I
Pastor
miss
Middleton.
all that you have done, and I look forward to
Yay.
the day that we can get back together. So I look forward to that. But in the
Yes.
meantime, to the Facebook family, to all my viewers of QETV Live, thank you for viewing. Give a lot of love to my amazing guests and see you next week. God bless. Mwah.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.